back, guys. Season 3 of Classic City Locks. I am so excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to Mike again here on the other side of the country. He's living in like Wyoming these days. Who knows? But we are so excited. College football is back this
We are
week.
so hyped.
It is
So excited.
great season unfolding in front of us. We are ready for it. Mike, how are things going to look like at Classic City Locks this year?
Yeah. So, like Wes said, we're back at it again for another season. Looking forward to it. Things have changed. We're beaten down by the system. We have these full-time jobs. We can't dedicate all our time to researching who's going to win. Is San Jose State going to cover a 6.5 point line? Anyway, because of that, we are going to change our how we do videos a little bit this year, make them a little more interesting. Just going to break it down for y'all. Some things that you can look forward to. We're going to look to incorporate a segment, and in case you missed it segment, um, to kind of highlight some interesting things that may have happened between Saturdays this season.
That could be
Um,
like best plays. That could
yeah,
be like gotcha moments. It could also be just something funny that we think you guys have to see, like whatever that mascot was that we threw up on screen whenever we discovered it from that group of five school a few
yeah,
months ago.
yeah. And then next we'll be doing a mid-tier team. Wes and I are going to pick mid-tier teams that we're going to root for this season. We're going to compete to see who's mid power four. It hurts to say that power four team can exceed expectations, and we may incorporate some loser of the week. Whoever has just an awful pick, the CCL of the week. Um, and we are going to highlight our Pick'em challenge. We realized we haven't really talked to y'all a bunch about this. It's kind of what got us into doing this. We use a site, I think it's called Pool Tracker, where we're in a group and we pick top 25 teams against the spread. And you compete. You get if you predict a spread correctly, or pick a pick correctly, then you get a point, and you compete with other people every week. It's a fun little thing. So we'll take y'all along with our Pick'em this season. And then we'll highlight some. This is sort of the in case you missed it, but like, did you see segments to show just to highlight the interesting, crazy stuff that's happened every week, and we'll have some general discussion, pull from the comments, pull from the email if y'all ever decide to reach out to us again, and go
Yeah.
from there.
So it'll be a little bit more, fluid, a little bit more lively. We're not just going to sit here and give you five picks every week because we found out we're atrocious at betting. So instead of doing that,
I
we're
don't
just
know
going to
about
try
that.
and entertain. We are full blown ready for this season, and we're just going to get right into it for our first segment. Shorter videos this time. We're going to talk about the coaching carousel and also coaches who have the highest odds to get fired first. It is a good segment we've put together here for you guys. So, Mike, lead us off. Who's changed in college football? Who are we going to see in new colors this season?
Yeah, so in terms of big ones that we're interested in, number one is Jed Fish. He brought that Arizona team from death's door to a 10-win season last year. Couldn't believe it. He is off to Washington. He's going to pick up where DeBoer left off. Lot to do there. No Penix, no Roma Dunze. So we'll see what Jed Fish does. And speaking of DeBoer, headed to Bama. Talk about big shoes to fill. See if he can take on Saban's legacy. A&M taking on Elko, who had a big
My favorite
year.
pickup, Mike Elko. Love that guy. Duke beating
I think that
Clemson
he's a
last
good one.
year, like first week of the season, cost me my life's inheritance because I did not know the Clemson Tigers were not back. So,
Yeah. And then we have one of our personal favorites, Manny Diaz, taking the reins from Elko at Duke. He's coming off of his lackluster Penn State DC career.
whoa, lackluster is crazy. Their defense was phenomenal last year. We'll get into Penn State being
Yeah, we'll
overrated or perfectly
talk about
rated.
Penn State all the time. And then Middle Tennessee picking up SEC juggernaut Derek Mason, who had a rough time at Vandy. We'll see if he can do something there at Middle Tennessee. So that's what we got in terms of big coaching changes.
All right, so we'll move on. I love it. We're going to the first head coach to get fired this season. These are actual odds posted by 0-3. It's crazy. We'll throw them up on screen here for you. Leading off the list is Billy Napier at Florida, but followed closely behind by Sam Pittman at Arkansas.
Mm.
Mario Cristobal, crazy at 6 to 1 odds. And then Dave Aranda, I kind of understand that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, this list, as you'll see it in front of you, is kind of wild. I cannot believe that Ryan Day is at 12. Oh, I thought he was at
Yes.
12 to 1 odds. It's crazy. Like they're not going to fire. Oh, he is 12 to 1. They're not
Yeah,
going to
he's so
fire Ryan Day. Like th that's absurd. Why would you ever do that? Like you're not going to go out and find somebody better than probably the top three head coaches in college football right now.
we've talked about this. It's because every program wants they want to hire a coach and they want to win a natty within 3 years. That's virtually impossible to do.
Well, this is something that I think is, begs more debate. But like, who is Arkansas going to go out and like acquire that is somehow all of a sudden going to lead them to the SEC championship? Like Sam Pittman did an excellent job in his second year, and then he's fallen off since then. But like,
Yeah.
what are they going to do? Who's going to come in and miraculously patch up the program to get them to Atlanta? I
It's a
don't see it.
it's a new SEC. They were playing in the West. Just I mean, what are you going to do? They're just getting massacred with a brutal schedule every year. But they'd compete in these games. They'd win big games every year.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And Billy Napier, I mean,
I think that's absurd
that's
too. Like
crazy.
you've got to give the guy some time, one, and then also the like whole NIL, the recruiters not being behind him kind of thing. Like they lost Rashada or whatever their 5-star quarterback was just because they couldn't pay him what they promised him. Like, how is that on the coach? Like, and then they play like the toughest schedule in football this year. They
It's like
could go
what
like 5-7 and still be a decent team.
they have one of the well, they've had brutal seasons just schedule like we talked about the past couple of years, and then this year it's like they have to go through that gauntlet, the schedule created by Satan himself of like Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, FSU, and it's like, what do you got?
Not to
Give the
mention
guy some
Miami.
time to develop. I mean,
Yeah.
they had Anthony Richardson and everything. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first one to go. I
I
wouldn't
mean,
be
who would you
surprised.
pick from this list? I'm gonna let you go first. Obviously, the odds are there, so you
Yeah.
kind of have a good sense for it. But
It's definitely not Brent Venables or Dion. I honestly would probably lean towards Pittman or Napier. I think that I think that as time develops, more the narrative is shifting a little bit on Napier. People are realizing like maybe our expectations are a little too high, but who knows? Maybe they're that impatient down there at Florida. Pittman though, I'm gonna pick him as mine just because I feel like the potential for success was more there, and he, like you said, that second year was great, and we thought they were trending up, but I just haven't seen enough change there.
I think you're right. I think unfortunately it's going to be Pittman is the first to
Yeah.
go. Like Florida, you can kind of write off, the schedule this season, but Arkansas doesn't really have an excuse. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they're going to play a tough schedule, but their hopes are not very high. So like, what is Sam Pittman going to do this season that convinces you not to fire him? Like you need a staple win against like a top tier SEC program, and I just don't see that happening. But I also like Aranda or Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. I feel like Vanderbilt's kind of ready for a change, but who knows?
Derek Mason comeback.
Yeah, there you go. I do not think. Oh, actually, Shane Beamer at South Carolina, I think falls under the radar. Like, I don't think they should fire him, but that's another example like Arkansas where they're like, oh, he's not doing enough. We could be in the SEC championship. I'm like, no, take your time. You're not going to get there overnight.
I don't think it's him. I mean, they beat Clemson in recent time. He's picked up a couple big wins. They beat UNC a couple years ago. We'll see though. People are impatient. You never know.
Yeah. Well, let us know who you guys think will be the first head coach fired. Let us know what you want to see this season. We're excited for a new thing. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be vibrant. We are the best color commentators the sport has ever seen, even though we do not follow the game. But maybe that's something we could do this year. So let us know in the comments. You have ideas. You want to see us talk about something. We tried to make it about you last year. We only got like 5 comments. So if you want it to be about you, it'll be about you. So
Yeah.
we do it for the fans. That's all we're here for.